Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om. Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste Om Ishwara. We have seen our last class, the verse 20. Those devotees who keep me as the primary goal and who faithfully pursue this righteous and immortal teaching, as mentioned here in the scriptures of the Gita, those are very, very near, dear, or intimate to me. So I have been presenting a concept lately in the past few months in regards to this expression. These people, these highly qualified, these beautiful devotees, and they are the most dear to me, as if Shwara has a personal preference. Huh? So I have been offering my interpretation that what it means to be most dear, it's just like they see themselves as not apart from me. They are very intimate because they have come to understand the oneness between I, God, and everything else within my creation. So that is my interpretation. And then everything that follows is people in this spiritual path, this religious spiritual path, they are invited to shift the focus from the world of people, place, things, events, and circumstance to God. Okay, so but God is not an entity subject to karma that you could relate to. No, it is the supreme intelligence. So how are you going to transfer your attachment to the world to attachment to Ishwara? So Ishwara is not an object of attachment, detaching and detaching. So you attach to the scripture. Scripture not nothing more than the teachings revealing the nature of God, the nature of Saguna as a creator and Nirguna as Brahman. So those devotees who keep me as the primary goal is not a goal in terms of space-time, but a goal in terms they are making an effort to understand me, my laws and my principles, and they are making an effort to observe Dharma and help me to keep this Dharma field together, in spite of all the Adamic people and Adamic actions taking place. So those people who make an effort to understand my nature, my system, and living it accordingly, those are very, very close to me in the sense that they are very, very, very close to realize the oneness between the Creator and the creation and the creature Jivatma. Okay, that is my interpretation because it gives room to some abstract and some esoteric interpretations or projections that I have to somehow uh, move away from the world and move in the direction of God, and so to get God's sympathy, no, it's just like make an effort to understand the nature of the Creator. Okay, so so making an effort to understand the nature of the Lord, which is very subtle, very invisible, knowing that the world outside there, is so seductive, so attractive, so deceiving, and you're gonna just live your life that say, no, I'm not gonna lose myself into this samsara under the impression that I can find happiness by gaining, accomplishing, keeping or avoiding things. I understood that that is a trick, that is a setup. So now I need to understand the true nature of this game of life, and then the true nature of the God, the creator, because it's God who is keeping together, structuring and maintaining this period order. So the world is very tempting, it's tangible, it looks real, and it promises so much. One has to have a very subtle mind to start walking away, looking away from the world and looking to understanding the nature of this manifestation, the nature of reality, the nature of God. And then how can I come to develop a mind that keeps focus upon the nature of God? We know that there are no shortcuts. The mind has to be such that from being running about gaining objects of desires, it's just does not move from desire anymore. It's not tyrannically moved by vasanas, but if we may, it develops another vasana, which is the desire to live as a good karma yogi with an attitude of gratitude and love, reverence, and devotion, the famous devotion, which is present here as the element most often missing within efforts of millions of seekers that somehow are seeking without taking the nature of God into their consideration, into their equation of seeking. They don't understand. They need to understand God. They just want to understand consciousness sometimes, or they want to go beyond the ego, or they want to just go into samadhi. So there are no shortcuts. We need to become a bhakti yogi. Krishna says again and again through this chapter, he has presented us 5 levels of Karma Yoga, as we all remember. And then Swami says that even Buddhism that somehow rejects the concept of God the Creator had to move away from, was squeezed away, pushed away from India, because he was rejecting the teachings of the Vedas. If anyone expressing some way into liberation, which does not come from devotion to God, is not going to survive in India. And that's what happened. Those are somehow Nastika. Nastika, so they are materialist by nature. They somehow, as we know, there is physical gross materialism, and there is also subtle celestial materialism, such as people who who live in this new age Vita, that seeks to know I am consciousness, but they are seeing consciousness, but as a superimposition of one's mind or human consciousness, and then they go in all kinds of funny concepts, but it is subtle materialism. They are looking for something which is still within the realm of and subtle energies, that they believe to be the ultimate truths. So it's not about discovering a super mind, or it's just discovering the nature of God or the nature of consciousness, which is not a super mind. In India, it's easy because the Vedic teachings are ingrained, and therefore Krishna himself wants to claim that these teachings do not belong to me. It belongs to the Vedas. Swami says that Buddha may have been a very important avatar, but regardless, it somehow overreacted against the tradition. I think I spoke a little bit about that last class. So I have to remember that Bhagavad Gita is called Smrit, which means a body, a scripture, a literature, literature, I don't know how to say this word, which goes along with the Vedic teachings. It's totally in conformity with that. Can you repeat this word to me, please? Literate.
Go ahead, Mark.
Now, I try to repeat, but
Literature.
literature. Literature.
Literature. Tongue twister, that one.
Literature. Okay. The first the accent is at the beginning. Literature. Bhagavad Gita is called Smriti Grantha. It's in total conformity with the teachings of the Vedas and Vedanta, because Vedanta is within the Vedas, and this Bhagavad Gita is beautiful because it condenses everything, you know. Karma Yoga, Dharma Yoga, Upasana, and then Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana from the Upanishads. So if the person follows all these 5 levels of sadhanas, which is being present in this chapter as Bhakti Yoga in 5 levels, and it develops a lot of trust, shraddha. It has faith in its efficacy. It sees one's life being transformed. And then I'm going to see that the possibility of self-knowledge and moksha is within the realm of probability, because the Vedas have proved its efficacy. So I have become a mumukshu, a spiritual seeker full of trust in the scriptures, and now I can enter the last phase, which is Vedanta, which is the most simple but yet the most difficult, with confidence that the Vedas are valid means to get liberation. And that makes the person the greatest bhakta. And those devotees are the greatest and the nearest to me, says Lord Krishna. Thus ends the 12th chapter named Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, in which the essence of the Upanishads, which deals with Brahma knowledge, as well the preparatory disciplines, and which is the form of dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. The more I learn and understand the Gita, the more I appreciate it. Okay, we go into the chapter 13. Okay. The yoga of the discrimination of the k.etra and k.etrajña. In the last class, in the 12th chapter, the Bhagavad Gita was presenting its second session. As we know, there are 3 sections now, or divisions. The first 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters. Now we are entered the last one. They call 3 satakams, or satakams, mean a group of 6 chapters. So from the 7 to 12 is middle chapter, middle session, Madhyama session, and then now the last session. Okay, some structure. There are some topics that are most highlighted in each one of these sessions. The first session, we looked much into the nature of Jiva. the nature of the individual. We have seen Karma Yoga, which is all about Jiva-Atma, natureza. The nature of Jiva was present as well as Nirguna Atma as well. So the second topic highlighted is the Karma Yoga, is still in the first section. And Karma Yoga Sadhana was the second topic then. And the third topic in the first one is the importance of individual effort. We have seen it all. We've seen those 6 chapters. So Krishna did not want us to believe that free will is irrelevant, that our effort is irrelevant, far from that. So any intelligent thinker should never embrace the concept of fatalism. Fatalistic approach is no Vedic approach. And it's so simple to understand the importance of our effort. And yet there are so many people that are still stuck there discussing that there is no free will, everything happens by itself, and the Jiva has no saying or anything, you know. Destiny is one side of the coin, the other side of the coin is our effort. Parabada is one side, you cannot send it back once it manifests, but the exercise of our free will is the other side of the coin, because my actions are going to influence my Parabada sooner or later. Therefore, karma and fate both are contributors. Parabada and destiny is not the only, because my actions, my effort, my sadhanas is the other contributor, as we know. Free will. Therefore, Lord Krishna said that you have to contribute to your Parabada. You have to work your upliftment. That's very nice. So this is a meritocracy. So you have to do your side so that you deserve spiritual elevation. God will come to your rescue, quote unquote. That's why we have the well-known Tamil proverb, something on those lines. Do your part, and then did you do the literal translation of this sentence, Lynn, by any chance?
I did look, and the only translation I found was, I am not a party. I don't know what that means. I'm not a party. Does that mean I'm not here to have fun? I don't know if it means, I don't know what it means.
Well, it should be something, there is another proverb say, pray to Allah, but don't forget to tie your camel, something on those lines. Those are the 3 topics, the first section. And then the second section, from chapter 7 to 12, we have seen a lot of the topics, a lot around the nature of Shvara, the nature of devotion, the nature of Shvara, otherwise technically called Tad Padartha. The second top highlight is Shvara Upasana, meditation upon Shvara. 2 kinds, Upasana and Nididhyasana later on. So to get to Nididhyasana, you have to go through the Upasana on its two other levels, you know. So Shwara represented as a deity and then as the cosmos or the intelligence holding the cosmos. This is called Upasana Yoga. The nature of Svarupa, the glory as well, is going to be highlighted in this middle session. Our effort is very important. The human effort will fructify only when there is Ishvara Kripa or Anugraha, the grace of Ishvara. Ishvara Anugraha is always free flowing, but we have to learn to tap into that, which is there just as a waterfall, but we need to pull the electricity by understanding how to do that. Okay. So what is Ishvara's blessings or grace? Ishvara Anugraha. So, so how are we gonna learn to tap into that? How are we gonna learn to gain the sympathy of Ishvara so that Ishvara may grace us? We cannot really bribe or seduce Ishvara, at least not with that intention. But Papaji used to put in a romantic terms, used to say, you have to become so pure, so beautiful, that the Lord falls in love with you and comes to pick you up. Very romantically, you know? And of course we would have like, wow, this is really esoteric, you know, Ishvara is coming, saving us from samsara and so on. But to the extent that we make this huge effort to elevate ourselves spiritually, it's a huge effort. So we are doing so much effort, that sooner or later we're going to reap the fruits of our effort when the fruits are punya, you know, spiritual elevation or spiritual development or self-knowledge and moksha, whatever. So when we receive that, we say, this is Ishvara's grace or reward. You know, it's, you know, but this is a system, okay? It's an intelligent design system. We have to remember that even when we are just picking up papa, it's also Ishvara's grace. Everything that Ishvara throws at us is Ishvara's grace. That's the proper way to understand that. So we don't need to do anything to tap into Ishvara's grace, but open our eyes of wisdom and understand that we are being graced by Ishvara. Every single moment, it's somehow keeping our body-mind complex alive. One more experience, one more opportunity to keep in mind, to understand deeper the nature of life, the nature of Ishvara, the nature of the Jiva, the nature of Brahman. So it's doing everything for us. And if it's putting some challenge or adversities or papan on our way, it's also grace. You understand? But you know, it's so difficult when there are some cries and this and that. Yes, so at least we could say we exhaust some papa karma. But I always did something so beautiful. I'm almost like a saint. Yeah, but you have to understand that karma on its collective proportion, you know. So if you live in somewhere and then a certain nation builds a bad, difficult karma, in the end, collectively, every individual is going to deal with that papa karma as well, no matter how saint-like the individual may be. So karma is very complex, and to the extent that we begin understanding it a little bit, and then we are just good to go. We are strong. We are well balanced. We have equanimity, and we see everything as Ishvara's grace. How about that? Everything is Ishvara's grace. That's the only way for us to tap into Ishvara's grace. It's not about punya, 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 because life is about punya papa, punya papa, punya papa. Swami gives example of solar or water. No, water is falling. You can extract energy, and then solar energy can be converted into electrical energy through some hydroelectric projects, powers. So all of that. We start with Bhagavad Gita with prayer. It's only an effort to invoke Ishvara. We say Shanti, 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 meaning to say Ishvara. I know you cannot do anything, but anyhow, here goes my prayer. Take it easy on me. Suspend some difficult parabhat, because now I need to do my nididhyasana, my manana, or my shravana, and I want to have those obstacles to be suspended so that I can understand your nature a little bit better. Therefore, never underestimate the role of the grace of the Lord. Generally, people think that Advaitins who are committed to Jnana Yoga, they do not have devotion at all. It means to say that all Vedantins commit to Nididhyasana as their meditation. They don't have any devotion at all. So that's not the case. As Krishna says here, the Vedantins are my highest bhakta, because they are devoted to myself, knowing by now that they are not apart from me. There is only one God, one Brahman, one consciousness, the only reality, and they see no separation. So the Vedantins are the highest bhaktas, as we know. It's not that they are only intellectuals. No, they have good intellects, but furthermore, they have the finest possible experience of devotion, which is less sentimental, more quiet, but very profoundly grateful, to whatsoever comes. Understand the apparent nature of God and the real nature of God, and without overlooking the apparent nature of God, and living in harmony with this apparent nature. So they are the highest devotees. This was the third topic in the middle section. The six topics have been highlighted in the middle section. Now we have to enter the last section, the last few 6 chapters. And what are the topics we're going to see here? So we're going to go into the declarations of Aikyam, of identity between Jivatma and Paramatma. Jiva, Ishvara, Svarupa, Aikyam. So the nature of Ishvara, the Atma of the Jiva is equal to the Atma Ishvara, which is equal to Atma of Brahman or Paramatma. We're going to deal with the essential oneness of Jiva Svarupa and God's nature as well, which is called Ashi Padach Tathaha, or Tattvamasi. If you rearrange Tattvamasi, Tattvam is Jiva Svarupa, Tat is Ishvara Svarupa, and Asti is the word meaning the same, okay, sameness. Aikyam. By using the word essential oneness, we indirectly convey that there is a superficial difference between Jiva and Ishvara, or Jiva and Brahman, and that's why we are using the word essential oneness. As we know, we have seen in several texts, you get to the essential oneness, the essential sameness between Jivatma and Paramatma by removing the non-essential elements or factors or attributes. All the attributes of Jivatma, they are no essentials. If we hold on to the essential nature of Jivatma, so all the guna attributes, they are non-essential because it doesn't matter, how tall, how short, how fat, how skinny, how bright, how less bright one is. Those are non-essential attributes because deep inside, everyone is pre-limitless conscious existence, the only reality. So we have to go through, we have to cruise through the non-essential attributes of the Jivatma. We usually take the example of the wave and the ocean to describe this. So the ocean is the essential nature. The water is the essential nature of the ocean and the waves. On the surface, superficially, they seem to be different. The foam, the wave, the ocean, they are different. Ocean is the big boss, the wave is something, to be proud about. And then every time the wave crashes, it produces foam, same foam, né? And then, so apparently there are some difference there, but fundamentally, everything is called water. You can resolve the foam and the wave into the ocean, but furthermore, we need to understand that even the ocean is a superimposition, is a non-essential attribute because the attributeless essential nature of the ocean is what? Water. It's water. So the search in our effort to understand our true free and limitless independent nature is to go to the most essential nature of ourselves, which is free from attributes, as we know. Attributes, they are just superimposed upon my true, limitless, infinite nature as existence, consciousness. So this existence consciousness is one and the same among all configurations produced by Maya Shwara, including the configurations of the inert objects that they shine with existence. Is the same existence. The only difference is that we as Jivatma, we are aware that we are, I am, I exist, So this existence manifests everywhere. But as it seems, only in the human intellect, it is consciously experienced as such. I exist. Everything here is existing. What the heck is this existence, And what is the difference between my existence and Silvia's existence, or my existence and the existence of my chicken? So there is only one existence, as we say. And the Namarupas are non-essential superimposition upon one single existence. And the Jivatma exists with another feature of Brahman, which is consciousness. That's why I say Sat-Chit, existence, consciousness. So the consciousness feature of Brahman allows this reflected consciousness shining upon our body-mind, and then we are the creatures fully conscious of our existence, okay? So I'm conscious of my existence, and my existence is also conscious of the fact that I know that I exist. So I'm consciously aware of my existence is a fact experienced by all human beings. I'm consciously aware of my existence. So that should be enough for any inquirer, no? Serious inquirer to get curious about the nature of this conscious existence, and don't stop at the mind or the physical body. That is a very, very superficial approach. Spirituality is when we want to go deeper and deeper into investigate the nature of this conscious existence. So we go beyond all the superficial difference between each one of us. We find out that there is only one water, there is only one consciousness, there is only one existence. So we have this experience again and again. We go to the seaside, we go for a vacation. And then we go to the sea, we keep watching, and it's too cold. I don't want to dive into the ocean, but I keep watching it. And I have a few options here. I can see the foams, I can see the waves, I can see the ocean or the sea, and I can see the water. It depends on my perspective. So the more superficial is my approach, the more superficial will be my understanding of the nature of the sea. The more profound is my approach, the more I go cruising through the non-essential attributes to the bottom of the nature of the ocean is pure water. Likewise, the essential nature of each one of us needs to be seen somehow, and we can only see it first within ourselves. Only then we can go through life remembering that everything is this in spite of people's words and deeds. Everybody is this pure consciousness under the spell of a video great ignorance, to a large extent, as we see nowadays. So how to see certain entities as pure limitless consciousness is a huge challenge for any seeker of the truth. And we're so concerned about the structure of the Dharma, and I need to protect these people, have to be stopped. This is a huge topic that even in the Bhagavad Gita, it gives room to debates, So should Arjuna just run and let the world burn, let Duryodhana do what they want and save himself, because after all, one can only save oneself? Or should he stay there and fight and die in the battlefield to protect the Dharma for future generations? Different people are going to have a different view of the situation, So, but anyhow, superficially there are differences, but deep inside, every one of these evil entities living on our planet, they are of the nature of limitless conscious existence. The second topic is Jnana Yoga. Is a sadhana, as we know, which is designed to discover the essential oneness between Brahman and Jiva. Aham Brahmasmi is the final declaration. Once the disciple has done enough contemplation, he came to conclusion, yes, now I can tell by myself, Aham Brahmasmi, I am of the nature of Brahman, of conscious existence, the only reality. Imagine the wave is leaving a living being. And the wave says that I'm nothing but water. The moment the wave understands I am water, so the wave becomes aware that I was never born, I will never die. So that's all there is to self-knowledge in terms of removal of suffering. The most fundamental suffering element, most fundamental, is the idea that I was born, I will die. People, Jiva, believes that I'm going to lose my existence when I lose this physical body. And that creates a kind of chronic discomfort or chronic subtle agony, all through one's life, the fear of death. If the wave becomes aware, I am water, just put yourself in the position of that wave, a wave that became conscious for a moment, You say, oh, I have been so afraid every time I'm facing the shore. And now I realize I had some satsang with another guru wave. And then I learned that I am of the nature of water. And I was never born within the ocean, within time and space. And I will never die. So just imagine the position of that wave. So that's mostly what there is for self-knowledge. First, the removal of fear of death. And then most of the desires that somehow spring from this fear, they just explode as numberless desires, unconsciously as a means to protect oneself from death, unconsciously. So if you know that you are deathless and birthless, so all those desires somehow they lose the source of energy. The energy was fear of death. You understand? So therefore, the moment you know that I was never born, I will never die, and then I relax, and all those desires that were meant unconsciously to try to protect me from death, they also disappear because you know you will never die as consciousness. And then the individual experience a certain peace and relaxation due to absence of multitude of desires, desires and my desires mostly around the issue of protecting myself, security against the ultimate drama, the ultimate adversity, which is losing my physical body. This discovery of Aham Brahmasmi is pure Yin Yoga, as we know, is a Mahavakya, the most famous, I would say. Tattvamasi, the Guru says, you are that Brahman. And then after some work, the disciple comes to the Guru. He said, yes, Guruji, now I understood. Aham Brahman Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. Scripture were correct. This is an equation. Yeah? Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi. So the concept of this equation is very beautiful, and we need to come to terms with it in mathematics for those of us who study mathematics. So the equations are very beautiful, and they make several elements composing this. And then in the end, equal to x, you have to discover what is that x. We have to do a lot of inference. And here we have a very simple equation saying that you, the limited and finite jiva, is limitless and infinite Brahman, So it does not make any sense. Logic cannot resolve that equation, Now there are equations that the x is what you need to discover. Some is this equal to this, like what sound the relatividade, proposed by Einstein, and then you have to understand why this is equal to that. In the case this is an equation, but it is absurd Because how can be that you, the body, mind, sense complex, is the infinite, limitless Brahman? So when we say in equation the two parts are equal, we do not an equation when two things are different, we do not write an equation. So when they are different, we don't write an equation. If there is an equation that says this equal this, is because they are the same, but still on the surface they look completely different. Suppose 4 plus 3 is equal to 9 minus 2. So this is an equation, you understand? There is no x there too, such as 2 plus 4 is equal to 6 or something like that. 2 plus 4 is equal to x. And then you have, now here saying that 2 plus 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3 is 7 is equal to 9 minus 2. So you need to make sense of that equation that says that this is equal to that. You know? There are two sides of that equation. You know? The numbers are different. The symbols may be different. The concept here may be different. You know, but if someone, as Einstein, say that this is equal, you know, and then you better take that in consideration and try to understand how so. So if you look at the equations, superficially looking at the symbols and the number, they are different. Anyhow, how to find oneness or sameness between the nature of limitless, infinite Brahman with the nature of the limit and finite Jivatma. We have to look at the Jiva and we have to look at Ishvara. Here means to say Brahman. They are very different. Ishvara, Brahman is omniscient. The other does not even how to spell the spelling of omniscient and so on. So we can say that beginning as the process, every process within our sampradaya, you need to try to make sense of in which way you are equal to Ishvara and which way you are different from Ishvara. No? And then, of course, Ishvara is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, is the total knowledge, is beyond time and space. And Jiva is the opposite of all of that. So we have very little knowledge and we are limited by time and space and everything that comes with it. So that's why when it says the Ishvara nature and Jiva nature is Aikya, it's the same. It means Nirguna Ishvara, okay? Because Saguna Ishvara is the supreme intelligence. So they seem to be very different. Not only different, but diagonally different, opposite. To make an inquiry and arrive at the essence of Jivatma and also arrive at the essence of Paramatma or Ishvara, Nirguna Ishvara, which is called Tavam Pada Sodhanam, means vichara, investigation. You do Jiva Svarupa Vichara and Ishvara Svarupa Vichara. You analyze the nature of Ishvara and nature of Jiva, in the light of the teachings of Vedanta, being taught by a teacher that somehow can reconcile the apparent difference. just as the mathematics teacher drives home the equation to the student, similarly, the Mahavakyas, the guru present, is meant to help the student to inquire into the nature of Jiva and in which way it's equal to the nature of Nirguneshwara. It is a vichara, it's an investigation. Of course, no one should be given like Tatvamasi, just realize Aham Brahmasmi. No, you have to have a lot of teachings which are going to create the base for someone to understand the sameness between both natures, you know. Then the thrilling discovery is what? Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma, carefully write, so, or else you will write Brahmaha, which means confusion. There are in Sanskrit, Brahma seems to be Brahma, but it's confusion. Don't get that confusion. Vedanta study is not required if you are confused. It's known fact. Aham Brahmasmi, and this is called Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, otherwise called Asi Padatta. In this inquiry, you make to arrive at the non-duality, non or oneness between the nature of the Jiva and the nature of Shwara as Nirguna, free from attributes. And you get that through the Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. That's going to be highlighted in this section through the chapter 13, 14, and 15. So the last section now is the one mostly involving the nature of sadhana, you know, and these Mahavakyas. It's very beautiful, these last, and the chapters are shorter, but very profound. Then the third topic here is in which way it is equal. Well, the nature of the Jiva and the nature of Brahman. And then we're going to go into the importance of values. So the sadhana of Jnana Yoga, Shravana, Mana, and Nididhyasana is going to be presented, highlighted. And then the importance of values, developing satgunas or values, noble virtues. And then to have a mind which is prepared for the last stage, which is the stage of Nididhyasana, okay, which is pure Jnana Yoga. Only a dharmic mind can be qualified to absorb the teachings of Vedanta. In Katha Upanishad is said, did you translate that, Lynn?
Yep. One who has not desisted from bad conduct, whose mind is not at rest, who is not composed, or whose mind is not at peace, cannot obtain this Atman through knowledge alone.
Can you repeat again, please?
One who has not desisted from bad conduct, whose mind is not at rest, who is not composed, or whose mind is not at peace, cannot obtain this Atma through knowledge alone.
No. It's negating. It's just saying if you haven't developed these virtues, self-knowledge is very difficult. Or if it's gained more on the superficial intellectual level. If the mind is not dharmic, is not healthy, has not developed health values, the mind is not prepared mind for self-knowledge. And without a prepared mind, the Vedanta knowledge is given. It is like sowing the seed on sand or dry, barren, sandy ground, and you just waste your seeds. Even if you sow this best of seeds, nothing will happen. So from my standpoint, I don't have much of any concern about that, because sometimes Ishvara puts someone in a Vedanta class, and my understanding is if this person came here is because Ishvara knows what he's doing, and at least some seeds can be planted, not completely wasted, because in due time it may grow, may germinate. James used to say that most of his work was planting seeds. He told me, he told a few people present there, and literally a lot of seed planting, soiling. Therefore, an intelligent person should prepare the ground before sowing the seed. The thing with Vedanta is like that. People come attracted by the final declarations of the Vedas, which are all available in New Age circles and the direct path circle, and so all over the world. When they're very much attracted, okay, this is the shortcut I was looking for my entire life. Now, so the seeds of Vedanta are available to everyone, and a lot of people they they just want to go because they heard those small fragments of the Upanishads, which are spread fragmentally spread in the spiritual circles involving the direct path and the people proposing this concept, these notions, fragment notion, they come to Vedanta. Okay, now I have something which is a little more solid. I'm going to go into it, and then this is going to be the resolution, the shortcut. But here it says, so man, you have to become a devotee of the Lord first. You have to develop some virtues, observe Dharma. You have to do some upasana to produce one-pointedness. Okay, and then you have to live upon certain dharmic and health values. So if you don't have the preparedness of mind and body, a Vedanta knowledge is given to you is not going to produce self-knowledge. But I like to say that if you're not fully prepared, you are not going to get self-knowledge, but you're going to gain some further preparedness. So you're going to get a little bit more prepared, not fully prepared, because whatsoever time you spend with Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, listening the teaching from a guru, so the teaching is just attacking the root cause of one mental unpreparedness, your mental disturbance, So if your mind is disturbed, now we are addressing the root cause, which is spiritual ignorance, to put it in that words. But ultimately, the individuals, if he wants or she wants self-knowledge, it has to go through this stage of yoga, the 4 stages of yoga, the 2 stages of karma yoga and 2 of upasana to go into jnana yoga. And then the mind is prepared with a lot of devotion. And then one may be able to enjoy the fruits of self-knowledge. Otherwise, you may enjoy some fruits, which is, so I feel better about myself. I live more in harmony with the Dharma field. So I experience a little bit more peace. And so there are some improvement as well, but not necessarily self-knowledge. Therefore, an intelligent person should work to prepare the ground before, aspiring, let's say, for self-knowledge and moksha. But some people come to my Brazilian group, and then when it start getting too yogi, there's one guy that I liked him. He was very sincere, but he moved away because when we moved into the third and last section of the Gita, the teaching became less karma yoga and more jnana yoga. And he said very clearly that he was not coming anymore for some time because he felt he needed mostly Kama yoga. And he said, I'm going to keep doing it online, studying all those hundreds and hundreds of classes on Kama yoga, you know. Some people, they say it very clearly, what I need is Kama yoga. And they stick to the Jnana yoga, but they appreciate more the Kama yoga teachings. So virtues. What are these virtues? There are different lists of virtues. In Dharma Shastra, they are called Atma Gunaha. And if you want to present the values in Vedanta language, we call them Sadhana Katushtaya Sampati. So these virtues, they may be comprised, expressed as the 4 Ds, dispassion, discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire for moksha. But it can be broken down to a long list of mental, emotional, and intellectual personality virtues, let's say. So with this background, we enter now in the Karma Satikam. Okay. The 13th chapter, in some books, we find a verse in the form of Arjuna's question in some books. So here he says that in some Gita books, there is no this first verse, which is Arjuna asked Krishna, does not appear. Swami says that some scholar says that this was added later on to make the beginning of this last section more round, Arjuna asking, rather than Krishna coming and start teaching without having anybody asking him. So it doesn't matter which way. Here we're going to have the version with Arjuna questions. Oh Lord, I desire to know the following prakrti, purusa, k.etrajña, jñanam, and I forgot how to pronounce jñanam, and jñana. Can you say this to me to remind me? I got it right when I was teaching in English, in Portuguese.
I don't know where you are. Where is it?
Verse 1.
Oh, verse 1.
The last word in that verse.
Oh, jñanam and jñeyam.
Jñeyam.
Yeah.
Yeah, jñeyam. Good, very good. So this it's very nice, this part here of this Gita, because Arjuna says, I want to understand better those technically saying this word prakrti, purusa, k.etrajña, jñanam, and jñeyam. And we're gonna see this development next Thursday. Ishwara willing, of course. No? Anything from you guys?
I just look very forward to this third portion. And I just think I'll reread The Value of Values. Dayananda's little book, Value of Values.
Definitely. Good idea. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Lynn, by the way, are you having time? Yes, because you don't have a job like Mark. You are only a householder, and you're having time and
Oh, come on. Only a householder? Ask ask yourself, Arlindo. Chickens, everything.
yeah,
There's always work to do, isn't there?
yeah, definitely.
So what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I was saying that the classes in Portuguese language of the Kaivalya Upanishad, are you looking into it? Are you enjoying to follow it by the legends, or is it
I've had so
mostly-
much to do this week that I haven't, but I am so looking forward to it.
Okay.
And I have done the first 4 or 5 and will continue. And thank you for hooking me up with all that.
Okay,
Really,
we lost Mark. I was going to extend that to Mark if he is interested, but he dropped out.
okay, okay.
Then no point.
Met him. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Beautiful
Until
class.
next time. Bye bye.
Bye.